You've walked away. The door is closed. Physically, you are finally free. But in the quiet moments, why does your heart refuse to let go? It's like an invisible thread, a phantom grip that feels so heavy, so real. You are out of the house, but they are still in your head. If you're feeling this today, I want you to know you aren't failing. You're just human. And there is a reason your soul is still searching for answers, a reason that is far deeper than you've been told. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you found this space. Today we are going to talk about the longing, that perplexing, agonizing pull towards someone who caused you immense pain. It feels contradictory. It feels unfair. You did the hardest part. You severed the ties. Yet the emotional echoes continue to vibrate through your life. You might be wondering, will I ever be truly free? This isn't just a passing thought. It's a profound, persistent ache. To heal it, we first have to understand exactly why it's happening. I know how exhausting this internal battle is. You feel like you're losing your mind, don't you? One moment, you are celebrating your freedom. You're finally envisioning a life of peace, unburdened by their control. But then, a song plays, or a memory flashes, and suddenly a wave of longing crashes over you. You might feel a strange nostalgia for a version of them that wasn't even real. And then comes the shame. You ask yourself, why am I still thinking about them? How can I miss them after everything they did? Please hear me. These are not signs of weakness. They are the footprints of deep psychological manipulation. Understanding this is your very first step toward true detachment. At the core of this attachment is something called a trauma bond. This isn't just a bad breakup. It is a specific, insidious dynamic that thrives on cycles. It's what we call intermittent reinforcement. Think of it like a slot machine. Sometimes you win a tiny bit. Most of the time, you lose. But that unpredictability, that is what keeps you playing. You are waiting, hoping for that next jackpot of kindness. The narcissist crafts these cycles meticulously. They offer crumbs of affection just as you are about to give up. It cements a connection that feels unbreakable, even though it is clearly toxic. Imagine the rhythm of that relationship. There were periods of intense idealization. You were the most cherished person in the world. But that was always followed by coldness, by the discard, and then the hoovering, the attempt to pull you back in. Every time you were devalued, your nervous system went into a state of high stress. Your body was flooded with cortisol. But when they gave you that fleeting glimpse of love again, your brain released dopamine and oxytocin. It created a biological roller coaster. Your brain actually began to associate the person who caused the pain with the relief from that pain. This is a biological shift. It makes the bond incredibly hard to sever. But once you see the pattern, you can start to break the spell. Think of it as your heart trying to heal in an environment that was designed to keep you broken. It wasn't a flaw in your character. It was a response to a chaos you didn't create. Another force holding you back is something called cognitive dissonance. It is the mental exhaustion of holding two contradictory truths at the same time. In your heart, there is a clash. There is the reality of their destructive behavior. And then, there is the idealized version of them you desperately want to believe in. Your mind is struggling to reconcile two different people. The one who hurt me versus the one who said they loved me. The person I saw at home versus the charming person the world sees. To survive the stress, your brain tries to rationalize the pain. It minimizes the harm just to find some peace. This internal battle keeps the attachment alive, because your mind is still trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. Then there is the art of future faking. They painted beautiful, elaborate pictures of a life you would share, promises of change, plans for happiness, a deep, soulful connection. These promises acted like anchors in your mind. Even now, those visions persist. You aren't just losing a person, you are losing the future you thought you were building. It feels like mourning a dream that was never real, a phantom limb of a relationship that only existed in their narrative and in your hopeful heart. You aren't missing who they are, you are missing who they promised to be. During that time, you likely began to lose touch with yourself. Your boundaries slowly eroded, your interests faded away. You started measuring the atmosphere in the room before speaking. You watched their tone, their silence, their facial expressions. Your nervous system stopped feeling like your own. You became a reflection of them, an extension designed to keep them stable. When you leave, it isn't just a breakup, it's an identity crisis. You might ask, who am I without them? What do I even like anymore? This disorientation is terrifying. Sometimes the toxic attachment feels safer than the unknown of being yourself again. But that unknown, that is where your life is waiting to begin. The constant criticism you endured didn't just disappear when you left. It fostered a powerful inner critic, a voice inside your head that sounds like them. It tells you that you're to blame, that you weren't enough, that maybe you misinterpreted everything. This is the cruelest part of the journey. The person who damaged your self-worth left an internal proxy to continue the work. Even in their absence, their voice tries to pull you back to the familiar pain. Recognize that voice for what it is. It isn't your truth. It's just an echo of their manipulation. I want you to be gentle with yourself, because your brain has actually changed. In response to constant stress, your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, became hypervigilant. It was always scanning for threats, always waiting for the next mood shift. Meanwhile, the part of your brain responsible for rational thought was overwhelmed. This isn't just in your head, it's in your biology. Your brain literally wired itself to survive that specific environment. Unwiring those deep-seated patterns takes time. It takes conscious effort. And above all, it takes immense self-compassion. Your brain was trying to protect you. Now, it's time to teach it that you are safe. Part of this attachment is actually a form of grief. But you aren't grieving the person who hurt you. You are grieving the illusion of who you thought they were. You are mourning the potential, the idealized partner, the promises of a future that, in reality, never existed. This type of grief is uniquely hard. Society doesn't always validate it. How do you mourn something that was never truly there? How do you mourn a mirage? Acknowledging this grief is vital. It is a necessary step in letting go of the emotional hold they still have on you. Sometimes your experience might feel like a psychological alliance, a survival strategy born from the shadows. In a difficult relationship, kindness often comes in small bursts, usually right after the cruelty. This creates a desperate dependence. Your brain begins to seek out those moments of peace just to survive. You might find yourself trying to understand them, to sympathize with them, even to protect them. This is a deep-seated survival mechanism. It makes releasing the attachment feel terrifying. It feels like you're betraying your own coping strategies. But remember, you don't need that strategy anymore. You are safe now. Leaving a toxic relationship can feel like stepping off a cliff, into a dark, vast unknown. Even if the familiar was painful, at least you knew what to expect. The prospect of building a completely new life is daunting. You have to forge new connections. You have to rediscover who you are. The fear of loneliness or the fear of making a mistake can pull you back. It draws you toward the comfort of the old pain. But that comfort was just a construct. Don't suppress that fear. Acknowledge it. Walking through that fear is the only way to reach your healing. After you leave, your mind can become a relentless loop, a cycle of what ifs. What if I had done things differently? What if they really loved me underneath it all? This rumination is just your brain's attempt to make sense of the senseless. You are searching for a pattern, for a reason. It's a way of trying to regain control over a situation where you had none. But this mental engagement keeps them alive in your world. It prevents you from fully detaching. You don't need to solve the puzzle anymore. The only answer you need is the peace you are building right now. There is a powerful hope that they skillfully cultivated, hope for change, hope for the true person to emerge. This hope becomes an addiction. Even after you've left, that flicker can remain, especially if they try to hoover you back with apologies or new promises. Breaking this cycle isn't about giving up. It's about accepting a hard reality. The person you are hoping for never existed. The only hope truly worth holding on to is the hope for your own future, a future that belongs entirely to you, completely free from their influence. For so long, your sense of worth was a mirror held in their hands. Your reality, even your moods, hinged on their approval. When they are gone, they take that mirror with them, and it leaves a void. You might feel a deep, painful craving for their attention, but please understand, this isn't because you love them. It's because you were conditioned to seek your okayness from them. You are going through a withdrawal from an external source of validation. The healing begins when you realize the mirror was always yours. It's time to start looking inward to find your own worth again. Emotional detachment isn't about forcing yourself to forget. It's about understanding the mechanics of what happened so deeply that the manipulation loses its power. It's about recognizing the tactics, not just the pain. When you see the strings of the puppet master, the show isn't convincing anymore. When you understand why you felt attached, you strip away the mystique. You see the impossible for what it was, a set of calculated moves. This clarity is what dismantles the threads that still bind you. It transforms your confusion into a quiet, steady empowerment. The most critical ingredient in this entire journey is self-compassion. I want you to stop judging yourself for still feeling these pulls. Stop being angry at your heart for the way it aches. These feelings are normal, natural responses to a situation that was never normal. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend, a friend who has just survived a profound trauma. Your heart and mind were doing their best to navigate an impossible storm. Radical self-acceptance is the soil where your healing grows. Be patient. Be soft. You are doing the best you can. You have to allow yourself to truly grieve. Grieve the future you imagined. Grieve the time you feel was wasted. Grieve the parts of yourself that were dimmed to make them feel bright. This isn't a sign of weakness. It is a profound act of processing the poison. Often, the attachment lingers because the grief is being held in. It's being suppressed or ignored because the world doesn't always understand. Create a safe space for yourself to feel these emotions without judgment. It is only by feeling the weight of the loss that you can finally begin to release its grip. For too long, they controlled your narrative. They defined who you were. They told you what was true. To detach, you must reclaim your story. It's time to pick up the pen and start writing your own chapters. You are the hero of this journey. You are not a supporting character in their distorted drama. Whether it's through journaling or talking to those you trust, start reframing the past through your own eyes. Not the lens they forced you to wear, but the lens of your own truth. There is a massive, beautiful power in reclaiming your own reality. It is one of the most liberating things you will ever do. You've likely set the external boundaries. You've blocked the number. You've closed the door. But the internal boundaries, those are the silent guardians of your peace. It's a conscious decision you make every single day. It's saying, I will not let thoughts of you consume my mental space today. This is a practice. It isn't a one-time event. It's a gentle, firm redirection every time the old script tries to play. It requires vigilance, but every time you choose to pull your focus back to yourself, you are winning. You are taking back the territory of your own mind. Remember that person you used to be? The one with the passions, the dreams, and the quiet joys? Now is the time to find them again, one small brick at a time. What brings you a flicker of happiness? What makes you feel like you? Start small. Pick up an old hobby. Explore a new interest. Surround yourself with people who genuinely see your light and uplift it. These aren't just distractions. They are the foundation of your new, authentic identity. Every small act of self-discovery is a vote for your future. A future where you aren't just surviving, you are finally becoming whole. Sometimes it happens in a heartbeat, a certain scent in the air, a specific song on the radio, a street corner you used to walk together. These are triggers. They can transport you back to the past before you even realize it. But understanding your triggers is a superpower. Once you identify them, you can develop your own map for the storm. When a trigger hits, breathe. Ground yourself in the present moment. Recognize that it is just an echo, not your current reality. You are in control now. You don't have to let a memory hijack your entire day. We often talk about no contact as a physical wall, but for your soul to truly detach, it needs to be no mental contact. This means choosing not to look, choosing not to check their social media, choosing not to ask mutual friends how they are doing. Every time you peek through that digital window, you are feeding the attachment. You are giving it the mental energy it needs to stay alive. Starve that fire. Redirect that energy back into your own growth. You deserve that focus. You deserve that time. They have had enough of your energy. It's time to keep it for yourself. You don't have to navigate this complex journey alone. This path is heavy, it's confusing, and there is immense strength in reaching out for a hand to hold. Whether it's a therapist who understands this type of healing, or a support group of people who really get it. These resources are your anchors. They help you realize that you aren't crazy and you aren't alone. They help you challenge the distorted beliefs that were planted in your mind. They build your resilience. They accelerate your path to freedom by giving you the tools you were never meant to carry by yourself. Many people ask about forgiveness. I want to be very clear. True detachment doesn't mean you have to condone what happened. It doesn't mean you have to tell them their actions were okay. Forgiveness, in this sense, is about you. It's about forgiving the version of yourself that didn't know any better. Forgiving yourself for staying as long as you did. It's about setting down the heavy backpack of resentment, not for their sake, but for yours. Holding on to anger keeps you tethered to the past. Releasing it allows you to walk forward, unencumbered and light. This journey you are on, it is an awakening. It's the moment you realize the immense strength you possess. You are discovering a resilience you never knew was there. You survived something incredibly damaging, and yet, here you are, actively choosing to heal. Can you feel that shift? The focus is moving away from their power over you and toward the inherent power within you. The more you reclaim your peace, the smaller their shadow becomes. This is the most transformative part of your recovery. You are no longer the victim of their story. You are the conscious creator of your own. Please remember, emotional detachment is not a linear process. It isn't a straight line from pain to peace. There will be days of total clarity, and there will be days of deep confusion. Be patient with your heart. Healing is a marathon with its own unique pace. Resist the urge to compare your progress to anyone else's timeline. Every single step forward, no matter how small, no matter how shaky, is still a step toward your freedom. Trust the process, and more importantly, Trust your own inner wisdom. Imagine a future, not too far from now, a future where thoughts of them no longer trigger a storm, where their name is just a name, a word devoid of power, a memory devoid of pain. This is the gift of true detachment. It's not about hating them, it's about indifference. It's about being so full of your own life, your own joy, and your own truth that there is simply no room for their shadow anymore. This freedom is within your reach. Every moment you choose yourself, you are getting closer. As you walk this path, remember to celebrate every single victory. Did you choose not to replay an old argument in your head today? Did you enjoy a cup of coffee without their presence in your mind? Did you set a healthy boundary with someone new? These are monumental achievements. In the world of recovery, there are no small wins. Acknowledge them, honor them, let them be the fuel that keeps you moving. Each tiny victory strengthens your resolve, and each one weakens the threads that used to hold you back. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you choose to rise. That lingering attachment, it isn't a sign of failure. It is a testament to the depth of the trauma you survived. But now, your understanding is your superpower. Embrace this knowledge. Embrace your journey. Know that every single day you are choosing your peace. You are choosing a future where you are truly, irrevocably, and beautifully free. And if this conversation spoke to a part of your heart that still hurts, stay close. There are more conversations ahead that may help you heal. Subscribe if you want to continue this journey together. You are stronger than you think, and you have survived the worst of it. The rest of your life is waiting for you to claim it. Take care of your heart, stay empowered, and I will see you in the next one.